What's up, John? Mr. John, how you been, man? It's been a minute.
Good. How about you, bro?
I've been good, man. Hanging in there. But it's kind of, got a few things going on with had an interview with Miss Jaguar Wright, had this other guy, Courtney Burgess, on recently, and all kind of chaos. But getting to your thing, I know the last time that we talked, you mentioned that, I think I asked you the question about did you feel like Drake had any involvement in your home invasion? And you told me that, yeah, you wasn't really sure. That's the impression I got anyway. And I think that it was more of Jaguar Wright saying that that's what happened, because of the source that she had.
What happens when Jonathan Hay finally starts putting all of the pieces together on why he was putting that home invasion robbery with his daughter? Shout out to Jonathan Hay and your bravery.
Now, since then, you saying that you have more reason to believe and or more evidence to say that, yes, in fact, he did have something to do with my home invasion. What are those things since then that you got?
As you mentioned, Jaguar Wright, when she told me that during the Real Life Street Stars interview, I was shocked, right? I was completely caught off guard. But 500,000 people saw that, right?
Right.
And then, which led to more interviews, and obviously all her supporters started contacting me, and they kept coming up with these theories. And she's connected to a lot of high people, a lot higher than people realize. And they were giving me some information. And then when she did Piers Morgan, she doubled down. Like immediately after the Piers Morgan interview, she doubled down on it again, and this time more powerful. She more defiant, more that she had got more information, and everybody was looking at Jaguar Wright after that interview to see what she'd say about Piers Morgan. So she doubled down on that. 1.5 million people saw that.
Because the one thing I know about Piers Morgan is he is smart prey. And not only is he smart prey, he is a great conductor of information.
That interview trended, went all over TikTok, went everywhere. And that's going to obviously lead more people to take a look into Drake being involved in the home invasion, right? So it was her, and thank God for her. She's like an angel. She's blessed my life incredibly. I have so much love and support and loyalty towards Jaguar Wright. So for her to do that, and for her to help solve this mystery that has been traumatic for me, is something I'll never forget, right? So anyways, when that many people, that many millions of people see it, it's going to bring attention to it. One of the detectives who's now retired, one of the detectives who arrested the 3 people in the home invasion, there was 2. And he told me, he's retired now, he contacted me on Facebook and did like one of those Facebook calls. And he's like, hey, just checking on you. And I hated this guy, right? Like, I thought he was so corrupt, but it was really his partner who still works. And he told me that in the case, that he thought it was very strange that Drake was paying for my ex's lawyer. My ex was dating one of the guy who was convicted and sent to prison, right? My ex-fiance, as I've stated. Drake was paying for her lawyer, which was a top-rated lawyer in Kentucky. This is coming from the detective who arrested 3 people in the case, who's now retired. Now he feels like he can speak. And he told me he always thought it was weird that Drake was paying for the lawyer in the case. And he paid this lawyer for 3 years, bro. And this is a super lawyer. So think about how much money that was being paid to her to handle one of the people in my case. So that's the detective who retired on the police force, right? There's no reason for him to lie to me, right? And it's probably not his best interest to even tell me these things. And he probably doesn't think I'm going to get on, YouTube and speak to your audience that also has helped get justice, because you have so many people as well. So as you know, with anything, the way to get justice is to get the people involved, right? And so that's what we've done here. So the fact that, okay, we now know that Drake has taunted me in the song, and I went back and looked at these facts, right? And Drake paid me hush money, literally hush money. And 2 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, when he releases the album Scorpion, in the song Sandra's Rose, he says that he paid someone in Louisville hush money, right? Just 2.5 weeks later, after he gave me hush money, he's doing a song talking about a robbery in Louisville and he's paid hush money. So there's that, right? So that's another thing. Then in the case files, because all this has happened, thanks to Jaguar Wright, more eyes are on this. The case files on my phone records, because the police took my phone records because they're being fair and balanced. They don't know, is this a drug deal gone bad? Why was this guy duct taped? I've never been arrested. I've never been in trouble. So they're trying to get to the bottom of it. So they had all my phone records. One of the last calls within an hour or two of the home invasion was from Drake's manager, Future the Prince.
To you?
To me.
Okay.
And the police saw that, which that detective retired also thought that was weird, that was a Toronto number, and they checked it, and that was Drake's representative. And then immediately after that happened, I'm talking to Drake's baby mama, as we were such good friends and I was her publicist, that she was comforting me. Like all day you can see my phone calls with Sophie, and that's on the police records. So there's that, right? So there's that information. So I reached out to the state prosecutor. His name is Crit Cunningham. And as you know, prosecutors hold all the power in the justice system. And I presented him all this evidence and everything, and all the facts, and asked him to pursue criminal charges. A, I'm a thousand miles away. B, if I make a cold call to the police and say, hey, I think Drake's involved in this thing, they're not going to take it serious. But going with Crit Cunningham, he's the one who had 3 people arrested and convicted them, and sent 3 people to prison in this case already. I let him know about Drake so he can take this to the proper chain, to like the chief of police, because this is the type of stuff that the prosecutor's office, which has been amazing. The police were dodgy, the police were weird, as they always are, but the prosecutor, the state prosecutor, and the prosecutor's advocate have been so helpful always for the last 7 years in this case and in this situation, right? Because Michael Brooks, Lewis Simmons Jr., Quantez Gibson, all 3 of those people convicted and sentenced to prison from the prosecutor's office. So I reached out to him to try to bring criminal charges against Drake. Now, I spoke to a powerful entity in Louisville, along with the detective, who thought that it was weird even then. They just thought it was weird that I was even talking to Drake, right? Because they're not used to that. Like, their police department is in a public library. They shared the library with the police department. So they're not really, there's probably never been a home invasion. right? In the small town, which is St. Matthews. It's a little community, right? So it was very, you know, they're not used to that level of crime. So he told me he just couldn't figure out the connection, and he didn't hear the song Sanders Rose. So once Jaguar Wright is out here advocating for me, it's led to all this. And he said, at the very least, we'll definitely be able to get a civil case against Drake, at the very least. But we're going for the criminal charges.
Wow. So let's back up a little bit. I know you mentioned that Drake was paying for your girlfriend or fiance's attorney fees. What did she need? What exactly did she need an attorney for, and why would he be paying her legal fees?
Okay, so she got an attorney because after it happened, I was on Facebook, my own personal Facebook, and I was like bleeding out. Like, as a publicist, I would have told myself, don't talk about it. But I was so traumatized that all logic is thrown out the window. So I started talking about her and her involvement because everybody felt like it was her. So she got a lawyer maybe 6 months after it happened. And that lawyer, like I said, is a super lawyer. And the police really didn't mess with her anymore because, see, she was dating the guy, the main dude, the mastermind that the police arrested and charged with the kidnapping and burglary. She was dating him, and Drake was paying for her lawyer.
Wow. Wow. You also talked about Drake giving you hush money in the past. Now, can you go over a little bit what the hush money was for, and why are you willing to say it now, even though it was hush money?
Well, because it's taken on a whole different life. And at this point, because I've been quiet, I've been following the hush money. I have kept hush, but I signed the hush money for the stuff that he was doing with his baby mama. And she is feeding me all information from ultrasounds, which were leaked online, to the conversations, to, you know, pics that, you know, Drake is a regular person just like everybody. So she was sending me like all their intimate conversations, and it's in People magazine that came out now. I'm quoted in People where I said, I've seen the conversations and they do exist, talking because Drake in the beginning was pleading for her, forcing her, threatening her to have an abortion, right? And that's in People magazine that I spoke out. I said that I've seen the texts and they do exist, right? Because TMZ ran a story about her being pregnant, making claims, and Drake asking her to have an abortion. And he did. He was Future the Prince, who I don't have an NDA with, you know, Drake's manager, was all over me to try to get me to recommend and push and encourage, even offering, you know, we'll take care of you, we'll pay you more. Drake is the biggest artist at that time, right? We'll pay you more if you can influence her to commit an abortion. And that's one thing that I would never, ever do, right? I have children, right? I would never try to influence a woman to commit an abortion. So Drake, facts, not opinion, real life, people can look it up and search, was asking for Adonis to be aborted. Adonis is Drake's only child, except for the rumors of the hidden child that we can discuss at a later time, right? But I said that to People magazine. I've seen the text messages. They do exist, where he's encouraging her to have an abortion.
Does Adonis know this already?
No, but he will when he gets older. And Sophie, that's why I have so much respect for her, fought tooth and nail to never let that happen. She was a wonderful mom. Drake did not support her over the 9 months while she was pregnant. he made it hard on her. He was leaking information that he felt like A$AP Rocky was the baby. And people don't have to believe me. They can look all this up and see it online, right? They can see all this stuff going back to 2017.
And what is she up to now?
I don't know.
You're not in contact with her?
It got so messy. And then Drake, the baby was born. And now it appears that Drake is a good father. And I told him 10 days after the home invasion, you know, when they were pushing me to talk to this woman to abort that child, right? And I wouldn't do it. And I bucked down because I had just been robbed and I had just been duct taped with my daughter. And I was telling Drake, bro, I know you don't love this child right now because you can't see her. And that's the thing as men, like, you know, you have children and we don't quite understand it. But once we see them, they become the love of our life instantly. They become number one. Like the woman has the child growing in their belly for 9 months, that bonding experience. Men, we can see it from the outside. We can rub her belly, kiss her belly, but we're not experiencing the same things that she's having. But that moment that it happens and that child is born, that child becomes the love of your life. And I was telling Drake, I know you're wanting to kill your baby right now. And that's what he was wanting to do. I know you're wanting to kill your baby right now. But when you see your child, all that will be out the window. And it seems that it has.
Yeah. Drake do a lot of, you know, I know that you said about how he had his lyrics and stuff and basically retold the story of what happened with the hush money and the robbery and all this different stuff, the home invasion. He do a lot of that, don't he? Hadn't he in the past did it before, like where he did stuff or was kind of alleged to do things and he kind of throwing little hints and speaking about it in his music?
Yeah, that's what he does with XXX. Another thing that Jaguar brought up.
What happens when the real details of what happened to Triple X come out? What happens when Jonathan Hay finally starts putting all of the pieces together on why he was putting that home invasion robbery with his daughter?
Yeah, and what was the story with the SSX thing?
I don't really know, but somehow X like got on the radio and said if something happens to me, it's because of Drake.
It didn't comport with the narrative that they wanted to pursue. Okay? In the same breath, before X died, he said, if anybody kills me, it's Drake.
And then Drake would taunt him, just as he did me, right, with his lyrics.
Gotcha.
So, you know, so that's why I say, you know, f the hush money. Now, I don't care about business. I don't care about anything. You know, you paid for a lawyer that was involved in the case. You taunting me with lyrics. So now it's like that's why I'm out here talking. And look, like Drake is so corny. Earlier this year, and I challenge people like academics who speak so highly of Drake, and academics claims to be like an investigative journalist, to look into this to see if I am indeed telling the truth. Because he can talk to Drake and Future the Prince and they will tell them, yes, I worked with him earlier this year. I was paid by Drake earlier this year. And you know what I was paid for, bro?
What's that?
You remember, this is just how corny he is. Do you remember when that picture with him on the airplane came out and he was like swinging his dick? No homo.
No.
It was trending. It was trending for 3 days.
Okay.
And everybody was saying like this was like, bro, like long, like crazy. Like literally, it was trending. Right? Drake's pic where he's like swinging it around. Yo, that wasn't even his stuff. That was a prosthetic. And he wanted to make everybody feel like he had a bigger joint and he leaked it out. And I was like, yo, I've seen like no homo. I didn't want to see his pics. I never wanted to see Drake pics, but his baby mother at the time was sending me all this stuff. right? So when she's sending me all this stuff in the conversations, like nobody believed her. That everybody thought that she didn't have Drake's baby, and she has. It came out, right? The child here, the child is here, the child that he wanted to, that he has all over his Instagram.
Why was his girlfriend sending you them kind of pictures, man?
Because she was sending me like conversation on WhatsApp of like Drake, like she was proving to me that they were intimate, that they were together. There was like, yo, I'm thinking about you, you know, since that night, da 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 da. So she wanted to prove, right? So I was like, word. I was like, oh shit, you know, and you know, I saw it, so I knew. That's why they contacted me to pay me, because they knew that I had those pictures that could put out that Drake indeed, you know, has like a, you know, like a micro penis, bro. He's not hung.
Okay.
He's small.
So you believe that this girl, his girlfriend, that you was being a publicist for, and y'all became pretty close or whatever. You do believe that she and Drake was kind of working together against you about, like, when it come down to the house race. So at the end of the day, she gonna be down with him against you. Is that how you feel?
No, she was with me through the home invasion. Remember, she was pregnant while I was in the home invasion. So for that 9 months, until the baby was born, until Drake could test the DNA, that's when she's like, okay, because yeah, we're real good friends. Now this is the father of her child, and now obviously he's gonna pay her millions and millions of dollars.
The reason I said it is because I thought you was relating her comforting you to the fact that she was in on it with the whole Drake incident after the raid.
No, what I was saying about that is she was one of the people that was there for me, and he knew that, and that made him jealous and angry that, you know, that we were so close.
So at the end of the day, you plan to file charges and proceed with prosecution, and at least get an investigation going, and maybe even a civil suit, right?
One of those 100% is going to happen.
Yeah. And so what if you could make the call, what would you see the outcome to be out of all of this that you're doing?
I want to see Drake behind bars and have accountability for his bullshit, for his involvement in this, and at least in some kind of way that he kept my ex out of being prosecuted and for suing me. I got a $2 million judgment from that lawyer that Drake got for my ex. So instead of me like healing from that traumatic moment, she sued me for the stuff that I had said on Facebook.
Wow, that's crazy.
That Drake paid for.
So man, you gotta keep us posted on how that's turning out or whatever. So hopefully,
for sure,
you hear something back, you can get back to us and just, you know, keep us in the loop, brother. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I guess he'll keep us posted, and we'll see how things go from there. But in the meantime, in the between time, wake up before you go to sleep. Peace. We out of here.